Hello, welcome to game 4 of the Medium Games Finals. Eddie is winning 2-1. And the Pixie is going first in this game. We've got another Steward game, it looks like. We've also got Temple for trashing, but hard to think that you'd use Temple when you've got Steward.
Yeah. At least those shelters give some reason for Temple.
So, question is...
But it's not much.
Do you open with a 5 cost?
I'm not really liking those 5 cost cards, at least to open with.
Yeah, I mean, Storyteller kind of plays nicely with Steward in that you cycle around to find cards and find the shelters, and Steward can trash those. On the 5-2, I think I'm getting a Haggler and a Hamlet, which Eddie has. On the 4-3, I'm leaning towards Steward. Either Steward Devil's Workshop or Steward Stockpile.
Yeah. Okay, so they are going for Temple.
Are they going Steward Temple or are they going Stockpile Temple? Steward just seems like a much better card, especially because we're going to play with capital cities. We're going to play with Hamlets. I think we want to play with Devil's Workshops.
So basically Temple can give one really good trash.
If you're lucky.
Find a good hand. Yeah. And then the most it's doing is trashing 1 copper.
In my experience, you're drawing it with 4 coppers turn 3, and you're really sad.
Yeah.
I can believe in Steward Stockpile or Steward Devil's Workshop. If you happen to collide the Devil's Workshop with the Steward, then you just gain the gold, and you feel pretty good about an early gold with Storyteller around.
Yeah, I really can't tell which one I would like more.
I did.
I like. Yeah.
I told you this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think this is like, I hate to overstate it, but this is almost game losing already with the 5-2 split and now this draw. It's just really tough to come back from this.
Able to gain Hamlet from thrashing 2 coppers there.
Yeah. I'm much happier to trash 2 coppers. So for Eddie, this is going to be, I assume, Capital City Steward.
Or maybe Storyteller.
I think I prefer... Hard to say. I don't want to get 2 terminals in the deck.
You can make the trashing some more lenient.
I think I say Capital City Steward for me. The virtual payload with Steward and Haggler works well with both Capital City and Storyteller.
Yeah.
And the Pixie bottom decks draws 2 the next turn, bottom decking the Stockpile, and then hits 8 the turn after that. Really rough draws. At least you could pick up like a Capital City and a Steward. I just really don't like the Temple Open because I think the Steward's a better card in the deck long term, and you're always going to guarantee trash 2 no matter what. And it also lets you pick up like a Devil's Workshop if that's what you wanted to pair it with. But yeah, I think for me, Capital City Steward is what I would grab here. You need a village to add another terminal to the deck.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. Maybe Stockpile, but that doesn't seem too good either.
Yeah, you'll find time later this shuffle to buy a Stockpile. Or you have Stockpiles sitting out of shuffle and you have a thinner shuffle and then can add them back in. Unless she's thinking Council Room Hamlet and try to high roll. Which is interesting. Storyteller Stockpile is also a little bit interesting. Like, you're going to draw lots of cards.
It can make Temple get some value. Maybe if they can get the 4-card trash. But
yeah.
Most likely they will trash 2 cards at least in his shuffle.
Yeah. Is Capital City is helpful long term with Storyteller on the board? Sure. Estates are really bad with Storyteller. Like they just clog up your hand. So Capital City, like the end of the Storyteller turn, you've still got all those estates in hand or provinces, and you can discard them with Capital City. You can even do you can do some other tricks with Capital City too, but you need villages, I guess, is the answer. And Capital City is a better village than Hamlet, certainly in the short term. Eddie with 3. Okay, the Pixie got Bargain Devil's Workshop. That was not on my radar at all. She's not going to have encampments. She's not going to have stockpiles in this shuffle, which is a little dicey with the Storyteller.
So at least she got the good trash with tempo.
Yeah. Like the Storyteller is not doing very much right now, other than cycling, I suppose. I think Capital City's maybe not that helpful in the long term because Hamlets can do most of the work in the long term. But I think in the short term, they're putting in a lot of value for you.
Yeah, I do like having at least one Capital City here.
Wow. So this is going to be a real nice turn for Eddie. They can play the Hamlet. They can play the or they can play the Steward first, I guess, but it doesn't actually matter. Trash 2, draw a card, gain a bunch of pieces. The Pixie's going to need to pick up a Haggler here pretty quickly to keep up.
Yeah.
So 6. What do we do with 6? Storyteller, Stockpile. That's probably fine. And the Pixie's going to bargain here again for an imp.
So it's not a good Storyteller.
Yeah, 7 is somewhat awkward with Haggler. You kind of want to hit 8 at least. 8, you can get like Capital City, Devil's Workshop, and then Steward, Hamlet, or something. With 7, you just kind of buy a 5 cost to be sad.
Yeah.
Capital City plus Temple, maybe? A little bit more thinning.
Yeah, but
And then you can grab a free Hamlet.
Devil's Workshop doesn't look too bad either if you can gain some imps.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to be gaining 2 cards a turn, and you're going to play with...
Yeah.
You probably do...
They could go for a Stockpile Hamlet, Devil's Workshop Hamlet too, maybe.
Yeah. Actually, you can't buy... The Hamlet comes with a copper, which I don't... I guess you take Hamlet copper here with Storytellers in the deck.
Yeah, I was meaning buying Stockpile and Devil's Workshop and getting 2 Hamlets.
This Temple has just been awful.
Yeah.
Let's see what the Pixie does here. Could be Haggler, Hamlet, Imp. That seems reasonable.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, even if the Pixie had opened with Steward over Temple, in fact, I believe she gets 1 extra copper trash out of it today. So like,
yeah,
and you don't get a stockpile, and you have fewer stockpiles because you didn't buy a stockpile turn 3. Oh no, because she trashed 3 with Temple. So like, you actually have the same number of trashes with Steward over Temple.
Actually, this turn was only 1 card. They didn't trash a copper.
But we didn't have a copper in hand to trash.
Yeah, but
Steward, you couldn't have trashed Steward this turn because you would have had to trash the Devil's Workshop. So the Steward wouldn't have even been...
Not playing copper with Storyteller and just going away with trashing it.
That's really sad. I think you tried a high roll there. So we got a stockpile. We need some Hamlets. I think I preferred Capital City Hamlet here over getting the stockpiles out.
Capital City looks really good here. To have at least 1 for Pixie. And
There's a little bit of a hidden cost with Hamlets in that if you draw Storyteller and Hamlets together, you have to basically play the Hamlets before the Storyteller in order to see what treasures you draw to play with the Storyteller. But then you don't know how many cards you can safely discard with Hamlet. So, like, do you discard a copper with the Hamlet for the buy, or do you play it for the Storyteller for the draw? So there's like a little bit of a hidden cost with spamming Hamlets here, even though technically they're neutral cantrips. We're doing a lot of bargaining. I feel like that's helping Eddie more than the fives are helping the Pixie.
yeah, I could say so. And Eddie has been getting his deck in a good control.
Yeah, when you Eddie still hasn't trashed very much, but they have a lot better cards, so they didn't open with a trasher, so I assume we'll get there fairly soon. But I think the Pixie has trashed quite a bit more. I mean, like the Pixie has trashed a lot more than Eddie has, even with the bad draws with Temple.
Yeah.
So
5 versus 2.
yeah, it does not seem unreasonable that the Pixie's still in like a decent position, although the very bottom card of this deck, I believe, is the Imp, which is sad.
Yeah, it really could have played now.
And if you don't draw any other terminals, at least you draw 2 treasures. I guess you could draw the Temple and it would be sad, but... So for Eddie here, do you
get thrashing here now?
Do you play the Steward for coins to get a bigger draw off, or do you try to double trash with Steward? It looks like we're gonna get a double trash off with Steward.
Yeah.
How many coppers do we play here?
What's down there? So
Haggler.
Thrasher. Powell and 2 coppers.
Yeah. They don't have a Devil's Workshop. There's maybe another Stockpile down there. Okay. This is fine. They can trash 2, 3 coppers and a hovel. Get a Haggler into play. Maybe they trash the... They have to play the Necro for actions, so... That's fine, and at the end they'll have 6, and they need to buy stockpiles.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You gotta watch out for using too many of the stockpiles for Storyteller draw. Like, we need to add payload back into the deck.
Yeah,
but
that's... Usually the story does a bit risky.
I did not... Really? We didn't trash twice? I would have trashed twice there.
Yeah, I really like that too. But at least having a couple Storytellers makes it a lot easier having coppers in your deck.
So I feel like one of these buys needs to be gold. Maybe I don't have to do that this turn. I can do that next turn. I can buy Haggler, Stockpile.
You can buy 2 5s and get 2 stockpiles. So
I can go Haggler, Stockpile.
Haggler, Capital City, or yeah.
I'm not sure we need capital cities anymore. Like we go Haggler, Stockpile, and then Storyteller, Hamlet, something like that. Or Haggler, Stockpile, Hamlet, Copper.
With that, yeah. Yeah, with Hamlets, yeah.
I'm okay buying the Hamlet for the Copper because I'm planning on trashing Coppers once next turn, and the Coppers are not awful with the deck.
Yeah.
At least one of these will be a Stockpile. Maybe this is fine. They do need to add some plus buy, but they can do that next turn. They've got the Stockpile still. Storyteller, and you take the last Stockpile. Or actually, you can take a 4 cost if you want. You could take the Temple or something. And then you take Stockpile. Hamlet. I don't know that we needed 2 Hamlets that turn. Maybe we could have added a Steward instead of the second Hamlet.
Yeah, Pixie shouldn't have any issues with having actions at this point.
And there is still some thinning to do, and the Steward is helping quite a bit. So Eddie can greed here in Capital City, discard Necro Horse for coins and draw. Save the horse, given that they feel like they're going to overdraw this turn.
But yeah.
And I'm always trashing one pair of coppers this turn. No matter what.
Yeah, I do agree. No reason to not be trashing here.
So we have two storytellers. We just want to make sure we don't accidentally waste coins with Storyteller, which is very easy to do.
Yeah, at least Capital City can help with that.
Yeah. So like we can play the first Storyteller for 0. This order was strange. I believe the bottom card is another Stockpile. I was confused by what we just did. Okay, so we play the last Capital City here. We discard Storyteller, Necropolis for 2 coins. That works out nicely.
Yeah.
Storyteller's sad when you have it at the end of the shuffle, but I guess, yeah, Capital City is nice here. We play Haggler. But why? This is not.
I can't say I agree with that.
This is pointless. You're just giving up 2 coins, right? For no reason.
Yeah, I would like to trust Necropolis and maybe discuss Storyteller and Copper. Trust Copper and Necro.
Or I really want to trash coppers though. Like you're at a point where if you don't draw a Storyteller in the top 6 or 7 cards, you can dud. And you could, if you weren't ahead by 2 turns already, you could lose the game. I think Eddie's ahead by 2 or 3 turns, so it doesn't matter. So I think I'm getting gold Haggler, gold Storyteller, and then like Capital City Hamlet or something like that.
Yeah. That seems pretty reasonable. Maybe even, I'm not really sure. Yeah.
Rogue.
It doesn't look like
Rogue.
That doesn't strike me as very necessary.
So you can get all of your stockpiles out of exile if you rogue a stockpile. But you have to hit a stockpile and then play rogue again to get him back. It seems really hard. Yeah, that was another one that didn't feel particularly fair for the Pixie, but she's ready for game 4, so we'll move on.